If there's one thing that Sixers fans should be excited about for this upcoming season, it should be VJ Edgecombe. We did not get to see him much in the summer league, but in the time that he was playing, he was really showing out. He was playing like a beast, and there was a lot to be excited for in his game. And that's not just the opinion of Philly fans. NBA scouts and executives and pretty much everyone around the league are really excited for him as well and giving him some high praise. In fact, I was looking on NBA Central today, and I found this post that said an anonymous Eastern Conference executive says VJ Edgecombe could be the Sixers' second best player by the end of the season. That is quite the hot take. We're going to react to the article where this post originated from. So be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new around here. Welcome on into NZ for 3, where we talk Sixers nonstop. And if you, for some reason, still watch the Philadelphia 76ers, be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button. But let's get right into it. So shout out to Jeremy Wu, who wrote this article, and he's giving me something to talk about. So basically, he was talking about, all the upcoming rookies, Cooper Flagg, Dylan Harper, how they're going to do this season or whatever, making some predictions. And then we go on to this section. Which rookie, other than Flagg, will prove to be the draft's best pick? So he was interviewing, I guess, he has inside sources with a bunch of league scouts, top brass or whatever. And this is what they said. They said VJ Edgecombe, I guess other than Cooper Flagg, is the rookie that they think will be the best draft pick. So with Flagg, the overwhelming headliner of the 2025 draft, we geared this question toward the rest of the group. Best pick was left open for interpretation intentionally. The goal was simply to find out which selections rival teams liked most. The big winner here was Edgecombe, who came off the board third to the 76ers and underscored his talent earlier this month with an outstanding 28-point performance. Yeah, we know that. Okay. Yeah, VJ Edgecombe, man, he was really fun to watch in Summer League, man. While there are some reasonable questions about fit in Philly, where the Sixers also have Tyrese Maxey and 2024 draft pick Jared McCain at guard. Yeah, that is something that everyone's talking about, the entire guard rotation. I think, it is great that the Sixers actually have 4 legit guard players. Assuming that Quentin Grimes comes back, Sixers fans have been talking about some cryptic posts on X he's been making. He's going to come back. I have no worries whatsoever. He's a restricted free agent, and a lot of these other restricted free agents like Josh Giddey and Cam Thomas, they have no leverage, no power in that situation whatsoever. So Grimes is coming back. It's going to take a while, but he'll be back for next year. Edgecombe's potential to be a standout on both sides of the ball ultimately overrode those concerns. There's plenty of optimism around the league surrounding his future. Okay, now we got to the quote. VJ might be Philly's second best player by the end of the season, factoring in Joel Embiid's uncertain health. An Eastern Conference general manager said he's that good and will thrive playing in Nick Nurse's system. So at first I was looking at this post and I was thinking to myself, yeah, this is clickbait. I did click on it. It did get me interested. And this video is pretty much clickbait because it's July. There's nothing to talk about. But if you're even still watching the video at this point, kudos to you. I appreciate it. But yeah, so of course, VJ Edgecombe, all things considered, in his rookie year, he's not going to be better than Joel Embiid. As long as Joel Embiid, is healthy. I thought this was going into this. It was, and everyone, the Sixers, they're 100% all right, 100% good to go. You're ready to, for the season or whatever. And, health permitting, they are, roster wise, a good team. I know everyone's likes to be down the Sixers and stuff, but just from a talent perspective, you have, of course, Embiid if he's healthy, Paul George. I think he's going to have a bounce-back season. Tyrese Maxey, who kind of had a down year, but I think, because he's just has that dog in him, has a great work ethic, he's going to bounce back. Quentin Grimes possibly coming back, and who else, man? The additions like Watford, VJ Edgecombe as well. Jared McCain, too. So the Sixers, on paper, at least, if healthy, they could contend in a weak Eastern Conference. But, this article is saying that, or at least this GM is saying that VJ Edgecombe, at, 19, I think he's still 19 years old, 19, 20 years old, has the potential to be the Sixers' second best player right out of the jump. And I thought, Tyrese Maxey, you know what I mean? I think you could take this both ways. I was thinking about Tyrese Maxey because I thought it was under the assumption that Embiid is just the, already unquestionably the best player on the team heading in, but they factored in health. So, I mean, I thought it was like, Joel Embiid, we already know he's the best, but then he's battling it out, going to be better than Tyrese Maxey. And yeah, Tyrese Maxey kind of did have a little bit of a down year last year, and I don't think everyone is really giving him, I guess, enough, slack for how poor the Sixers were last season. I mean, recently I saw this poll that between Stephon, who would you choose between Stephon Castle and Tyrese Maxey? And Stephon Castle, is a nice young player, but Maxey's, an all-star caliber player, and heading into his 6th season now with the Sixers. So he is, in the middle of the transition of kind of become the Sixers, team leader, as we really don't know what is going to happen next season when it comes to the team being healthy and whether the front office is finally going to put their foot down when it comes to how unreliable Joel Embiid and Paul George are. So VJ Edgecombe surpassing Tyrese Maxey, I just don't think so, man. I think VJ, he has a lot of the same qualities as Tyrese Maxey. It seems that they're both, pretty humble, down to earth, just want to hoop, not into all these extracurriculars. You know what I mean? Like, we'll talk about football for a second. Cam Newton going out, bashing, constantly talking about, Jalen Hurts and everyone comparing him to Jalen Hurts and stuff. And Jalen Hurts, in the meantime, he does not care about any of that talk. You know what I mean? He just stays in the gym. He focuses on himself, improves himself, day in and day out, and cares only about one thing, and that is winning. Winning as much as he possibly can. I think Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe, in a way, sort of have that same DNA. They just want to block out all that noise. Maxey made that one post saying that y'all talking this mess this summer or whatever, understood, and then there was the little salute emoji. And so we know, Tyrese Maxey, he is just, I'm so glad that the Sixers, are putting a lot of trust in Tyrese Maxey to lead the team. I think he has the right winning mindset, and, he can kind of take VJ Edgecombe under his wing. And VJ Edgecombe, I don't know whether, I think especially when it comes to his outside shot, if he's going to really develop it in his rookie year. I think that those expectations are a little bit too high for him, given that it took a while for Jared McCain to sort of get going, and he was known as a shooter coming in to the NBA, and with the Sixers, his first couple games with the Sixers, he was struggling a little bit. And then I just completely forgot that Paul George was on the Sixers in the first place. And this might be a hot take right here, but I think that VJ Edgecombe can legitimately be better than Paul George. I mean, Joel Embiid, his impact defense on both sides of the ball is clear. I just had a voice crack right there. Joel Embiid, he can really impact both sides of the ball as a rim protector and, his amazing mid-range shot, post moves. I really want to see Joel Embiid be healthy again. But, I mean, Paul George at this point, man, I think he's going to have a bounce-back year, but he's really getting up there in age, man. And VJ Edgecombe, I think it really depends. I mean, we already know what he can bring on the defensive end of the ball. His IQ, his ability to, get deflections and block shots, on the weak side and stuff, and really initiate transition plays for the team. Just as point of attack defense as well, it's awesome because the Sixers, they haven't really had that type of player before that I could really think of just as a complete perimeter defender, sort of like Marcus Smart. The Sixers have never had really their Marcus Smart or Derek White type of player, but VJ Edgecombe, he could really fit into that mold. So I don't think he's going to be better than Tyrese Maxey as a Sixers second best player, assuming that Joel Embiid is healthy. And I don't think he's even going to be better than Jared McCain. I mean, here, let's just look at Tyrese Maxey's box score. And yeah, Maxey, he kind of did struggle a bit, to start the season. Had a 45-point game. And we're just going to go, and what month was it, man? Yeah, it was in late December, early December, and throughout January, dude. The dude was going nuclear. I mean, the Sixers sucked. But Tyrese Maxey, man, 40 bomb, 32, 33, 32 again. He was doing it, I mean, on relatively okay efficiency. Of course, a dud right here, 38% is not ideal. But, it kind of makes sense, man. Tyrese Maxey, he had to shoot a bunch of shots last year because who the heck was going to shoot the ball, man? He had to rely on Kelly Oubre. I like Kelly Oubre, but you can't have him as your third, second option. Gershon Yabusele, Justin Edwards as a rookie, Reggie Jackson, Eric Gordon, Kyle Lowry, Marcus Bagley, Alex Reese, just a horrendous roster. And Tyrese Maxey, man, I think he did not go into last season thinking that he was going to be the number one guy. And Tyrese Maxey, I have a lot of faith in him bouncing back this season just with his mentality and the fact that our expectations for Maxey were already like are super high just every season because he has improved year over year so much just as at an incredible rate. He wasn't even that really known as a shooter coming out of Kentucky, but quickly became one of the best off-ball scorers in the league. When James Harden rolled around, I guess he learned a lot from him. And, Maxey, of course, he has a lot to improve on as well. He's not a complete product, but still, I'm excited for him. And I guess, is VJ Edgecombe, will he even be better than Jared McCain? Jared McCain, he kind of went on a bit of a insanity run, kind of struggled a bit to start, last season. But then, it all started with this 27-point game, I guess. Yeah, this W against the Charlotte Hornets. It is the Hornets, but it is what it is, man. 27 points, just, 3 for 8 from 3, but 10 for 18. Of course, 3 for 8 from 3. Jared McCain's known as a shooter. That's an okay percentage. I like that he's actually willing to shoot the ball. That is his bread and butter, shooting the ball. But what I also noticed from him last season was just how much more complete his offensive game was other than shooting. We kind of just viewed him as just a shooter, just going to be standing on the wing or the corner flying off screens. If he should be doing that primarily, but his ability to attack the rack and really play physical and be a crafty finisher, that really stood out to me last season too. But then, he had that famous game against the Cleveland Cavaliers, dude. 34 points, 10 assists, 6 for 13 from 3, and then had just a really good, stretch of a couple weeks before, unfortunately, getting injured for, missing the rest of the season. So Jared McCain, VJ Edgecombe, and Tyrese Maxey, man, they really seem to be the future of the 76ers, and I'm excited for it, man. I'm just excited. The fact that the Sixers sort of have a future. You know what I mean? We are bared down with, anchored with these Embiid and Paul George contracts. But at least we got, this decent young core of guys who like to work hard, who like to just focus on basketball. Sixers fans, we've had to talk about so many things other than basketball. It feels like for the last couple of years, you had to have past like the MCAT to be able to watch the Sixers, given just how many injuries Joel Embiid suffered and Paul George and stuff, and him kind of being washed. I mean, I'm being a little bit down on Paul George. I hope he has a bounce back season. I think he will, but I can't really feel like I can't, confidently say that Paul George and Joel Embiid are going to be reliable anymore. I just can't. The Sixers, it seems like there's always this dark cloud around the team, but I think we got, a little bit of a brighter future. You got those Clippers picks as well. We'll see, man. Daryl Morey, we'll see if he strikes gold again with one of these kind of low-risk signings when it comes to Watford, Jabari Walker. Just to go back to that Stephon Castle versus Tyrese Maxey poll that I saw the other day. I mean, Castle, he's not even the best player in his draft class. Jared McCain would have easily won Rookie of the Year if he did not get injured. Now, I think Castle is a good young player, and it's going to be interesting what the Spurs do between him and Dylan Harper. But I think Sixers fans and NBA fans in general, they got to give Maxey some more slack given the circumstances that he had last season. I mean, he still averaged, 6 assists per game despite having really, no good floor spacers whatsoever. And everyone's saying, hey, Tyrese Maxey can't be a, facilitating point guard or whatever. And we have kind of seen with teams like the OKC Thunder, they don't really have a true point guard either. I mean, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, he is a pure bucket getter. But they really just love moving the ball. They move the ball, always flying off screens, pin downs, backdoor cuts or whatever. The OKC Thunder, they're always moving. And then I think about, the fact that the Sixers are a really different situation, given that Joel Embiid demands a lot of ball time. There's only one ball out there, and, sharing it between Tyrese Maxey, Paul George, Joel Embiid. Those are the guys who are probably going to be taking the most shots next season. And Embiid, he is quite ball dominant, loves to back down the post, really get into his isolation plays. So Tyrese Maxey, he definitely, is not perfect by any means. He has, I think, taken a lot of jumps defensively. I think he's not like a liability anymore. He used to get just kicked around on that end of the floor. So, I mean, Tyrese Maxey leading the Sixers in the future alongside VJ Edgecombe, Jared McCain. 3 guards. Is it going to work with 3 guards in today's NBA? Who knows? But at least it's something, man. Something to get excited about with this team. And I'm just fantasizing like this, man, because there's nothing to talk about, as July ends and, August starts. And it's going to be a while. We just got to wait for Quentin Grimes to re-sign, but I hope some more clickbait articles like this. I mean, it was definitely a good article. I appreciate, the fact that I was even able to talk about this in the first place, that it came out. But yeah, we'll just try and keep finding things to talk about, man, as the NBA season approaches. So that's pretty much all I got. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button if you're new around here. This is NZ for 3. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.